March has been a really weird month. I told you guys in my last video, my February wrap-up and March TBR, that I'd be doing weekly wrap-ups from now on. Yeah, that didn't work out all that well. I really haven't read much of anything this month. Like I said, March has just been very, very strange. It's a lot of things have happened. One specific negative thing that was really big happened, and a lot of very, very positive things have also happened. And I just haven't been not really focusing on reading all that much this month, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I've still been reading stuff and listening to audiobooks, and I have a few that I wanted to talk about. So this is technically 3 weeks worth of weekly wrap-ups. I can't technically promise that I will be doing weekly wrap-ups like I said I would be, mostly because I was kind of up in the air at the moment how much I'm going to be reading compared to how much I've been reading in the past. I'm still going to try to read a lot, like as much as I can, but there are still other things that I'm spending my time with. But yeah, I don't think anybody will really care all that much anyway. I just wanted to let you guys know it might happen from now on. I'm really hoping to do one again next week, and hopefully I can continue doing them. But if I don't do them, then it won't be all that surprising. Thank you all for being here either way, and let's just jump into the weekly wrap-ups of March so far. The first thing that I finished in March was The Magician's Land by Lev Grossman, which is the third in the Magician's trilogy, and it was really, really, really good. I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Well, actually, I still need to give it 5 stars. I haven't updated my Goodreads since the beginning of March either, so I'm probably going to do that as soon as I'm done with this video and go update all my Goodreads with all the stuff that I've read so far this month. But yeah, I kind of just realized I meant to update my Goodreads this entire month, but I completely forgot. Yeah, I gave Magician's Land 5 stars. It was amazing. I really loved the ending. It's probably, I like the second and third one probably about the same, but I just really, really love how this all came together. It's kind of really difficult for me to believe that this is the same series that contained the first book in the series. It's hard for me to believe that I actually, by the end of the series, ended up loving and really caring about a lot of the characters when I really didn't care about any of them whatsoever at the end of the first book. I really didn't like the first book. I mean, there definitely had redeemable qualities, and I could see the merit in it, and I could see why people liked it, but I also it wasn't something I really enjoyed all that much. This one and the second one were so good. If you read the first one and you didn't really like it that much, definitely give the second two a shot. It really does work really well as a trilogy, and like I said, it was just a really good ending. I can't really talk about anything about it without spoiling everything else that's come before it. I can't really even talk about like the themes and like what it's trying to do or whatever. Like, I can't really talk about anything about it because I don't want to give any spoilers away. I was really surprised at how much I loved these second 2 books in the series compared to the first one. It got like infinitely better. It was so good. I really, really loved it. And if you decide to read the trilogy, you might definitely want to give the audiobook a shot. The audiobooks, all 3 of them, I listened to all 3 on audiobook, and I really like the narrator for all 3. I think he did a really great job. Even for the first one, I think he was like my favorite part of the first one, is that I think he did a really good job with the first one. I just wish the story itself was better. But the second 2 were really good, and the narrators were great, so definitely give the audiobook a shot. The next thing, I also listened to an audiobook, which was Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Parasol Protectorate series. I was told to read this by a bunch of different people, like Giselle and Lindsay and Sana and Michael, and just a bunch of other people really seem to love these books, and so I wanted to give the first one a shot, and I really liked it a lot. I gave it like 4 stars, like 3.5 to 4, something like that. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking, and the romance, I mean, I knew going in that it would be a lot of romance. I was told that, and I was warned of that, and I actually really liked the romance aspects of it. I thought it was a really nice relationship going on in between the 2 characters. It's like set in this London where there's vampires and werewolves, and they're a part of society, they're mixed in with society. And we follow the main character, Lexia Terabody, who is really funny. Everything about this is really funny. The humor in this book was great. The writing was just a lot of fun. That's probably why I liked it so much. If the writing wasn't as good, like if another author had taken on this kind of story and like had done it the same way, it would just fall completely flat for me. But the writing really brought it up. I really like Gail Carriger's writing. And I really like the narrator for the audiobook too. I actually started the second book. I haven't finished it yet, but it has started out good, and I do like it so far as well. I'm hoping to finish that one and talk to you about it next week. But yeah, Soulless by Gail Carriger. Really liked it. Really like Gail Carriger, and definitely want to read a lot more of her stuff. The next thing I finished in March was Old Man's War. I also listened to this on audiobook. Old Man's War by John Scalzi is a part of a series, and I really liked it a lot. I liked it more than the other John Scalzi book I read, Lock-In. Lock-In is like his newest book. I read that sometime last year, and I really liked it. I gave it like 3.5 to 4. It was good, but I had problems with it. This one, I did have a few problems with it, but it was overall just really, really fun. I would give it like a solid 4 stars. The characters were really great, the writing was really nice. It's this sci-fi story of if you reach a certain age, then you're able to enlist into this specific army that kind of deals with colonizing other planets. And it's like really important to the survival of like the human race, and they send out people who are older to go and fight these wars, but you don't really know what you're getting yourself into when you sign up. You just kind of, if you're like just kind of wanting to be done with your life on Earth and move on to something else when you're like 65 or like 60 something, I don't remember exactly what the age is, but when you hit a certain age you can decide to enlist in this army and go off to fight. And there's like rumors that like they somehow make you younger, they somehow enhance you in some way so you can fight people, like, cause they don't want a bunch of frail people. And so the main character kind of enlists in the army after his wife dies, joins and goes off and discovers how they make this army of older people, what they're doing, why they're doing it. It's pretty inventive. There's a lot of cool little alien races happening, and kind of a lot of cool little technology. I don't know if the science is accurate in any way, but it was a lot of fun to read and had a lot of really imaginative things going on in it, so I gave it a 4 stars. Definitely recommend it if you enjoy sci-fi. I mean, I just really like John Scalzi's humor. I'm definitely going to read the rest of the series, definitely going to read more of his stuff, because I like his writing and sense of humor a lot. I'll probably listen to the second book in that series sometime within the next couple weeks. And the last thing I finished this month, the other I didn't finish much, the only physical book I finished is The Mirror Empire by Cameron Hurley. This book actually took me a while to finish. I didn't spend a lot of time like sitting down and reading physical books that much. Like I said, I've been occupying myself with other things. But I did manage to finish this, and I liked it. I would give it 3.5 out of 4 stars, something like that. It's got a lot of really, really great world building. I really like the story. I think it's just got a lot of really, really cool ideas in it. I really like all the ideas in it. I think my main problem with how many ideas there are, how much world building there is that it took me a long time to actually understand what was going on. It took me like halfway through the book to actually finally get, okay, I kind of have an idea of what's happening and who is who and what is what and how it all works. Which I guess, I mean, I don't know if more complicated world building equals better world building, but I think it definitely works well in this. You have to really sit through it and get through it and try to take it and understand it. They give you like this big glossary in the back for like with a bunch of terms in it that really, really helps a lot. And they repeat terms so much that you eventually get used to what they are and what they mean and everything. Basically, it's this world that is surrounded by these celestial like satellites. They basically circle this world, and some people on this planet can kind of tap into these celestial bodies as they come into like view, as they come closer to the planet, as they start coming around the planet. It's like a certain cycle of when these things appear and when the people that are able to tap into them can use them, and depending on what celestial body you can like tap into kind of determines what kind of powers you have. And then there's this one called Uma that is basically, it only happens like every 2,000 years, and it's starting to come, and so there's some people that can like tap into it and that are really dangerous. And there's this thing that happens, that can happen in the world building of this, that you can rip like a kind of hole in between universes and kind of see into other universes, go into other universes. Everybody has a double in every other universe, and if your double like dies in that universe, you are allowed to go into that universe now, but if your double is still alive, you can only stay in your universe. So there's this sort of thing that happens that connects two universes, and there's this craziness that ensues. I'm pretty sure this is like considered to be like a grimdark kind of thing. It's a very dark story. There's a lot of death and bloodiness, but it's also just very inventive. Just a lot of really creative ideas surrounding gender, and there's like sentient plant life that can kill you and that will kill you. These really cool orbiting celestial bodies that just kind of appear in a cycle. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on. The only really downfall that I see in this is the plot is interesting. It kind of takes a while to build up and like to actually get to the point. I kind of knew going in, like with the title you can kind of tell like Mirror Empire, like, and you kind of get from the beginning that it's going to be this kind of connection between these two universes, but we never really get to that. It takes a while to get to that, and it takes a while to really see what's happening in the plot. And I think the characters kind of suffer from a lot of from the like a vast amount of world building. We don't really see that much character development, I don't think. There's definitely certain characters that really stand out and that I really liked, but other characters, like, I feel like I was supposed to feel something when they got killed off, because a lot of characters get killed off throughout the entire book, and you don't really see it coming. I didn't really feel much of anything when characters died, and I didn't really feel much of anything towards characters that much, although there are definitely some that we follow a lot that I did feel a connection to. So I'd say the character development left a little bit to be desired, the plot left a little bit to be desired, the overall putting together of everything left a little bit to be desired, but overall it was really creative, and I really liked the world building, and I think it was just really interesting in general. So yeah, that's everything that I've read so far in March in the past 3 weeks. Not much, but like I said, I'm okay with it. I still need to finish Dead House Gates by Steven Erikson. This is like my main priority. I also started listening to a book in this middle grade series called, I don't know if I can do this with a straight face, called Mrs. Piggle Wiggle. Basically a collection of stories all surrounding this lady who helps parents to sort of find ways to figure out how to deal with their misbehaving kids. It's actually really funny. Been listening to it, being narrated wonderfully by the lovely Giselle Bradley. Yeah, it's interesting. It's totally a thing that's happening right now. And yeah, it's actually pretty funny and really good. Plus there's a bunch of audiobooks that I have that I'm really probably going to listen to for the most part. I'm mostly going to be listening to audiobooks for a little while. And I'll definitely try to update you next weekend on what I've read this week. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. Although from now on, I'm not going to be doing monthly TBRs anymore, or any kind of TBR. I'd really rather not set that for myself right now. I'll get to what I get to when I get to it, and I'm really okay with that. I kind of just want to be at a very relaxed pace when it comes to reading right now. And I know you guys understand, so I just wanted to share all that with you. And if you've read anything that I've talked about in this, definitely let me know what you think. I've been kind of bad at replying to comments recently on my other recent videos, which I feel really, really bad about. And I'm going to try really hard to keep up with those way more. And I'm kind of falling behind on watching booktube videos from people that I'm subscribed from. I have a pretty big watch leader list right now that I really want to get to like within the next couple days. And I'm going to try to comment more on other people's videos like I was doing a lot last year. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for being here in general. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon with more.